Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by
Anthony Galati.
And
as always, Steven is my name.
he had to say, as always.
It has to
Way
be
to
that.
ruin a
He
bit.
couldn't just hit.
He sucks.
You couldn't just hit the bit.
Don't tell me what to do. You want me to do it over? I'll do it over.
No,
It's
you're
rude.
not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it.
We wanted to do a little joke
Stupid
there.
bit.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun,
I liked it.
right? It was fun.
You're trying to take away my thing.
No,
My
I
thing.
was trying to make a
Trying
good
to make
joke.
a Braveheart reference. We're talking about Braveheart.
I don't know how does he
He goes,
actually
Steven is my name.
Does he sound like that? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. His delivery
Whatever.
is like so.
It's over. It's shot.
Yeah.
This show is shot to shit
The,
already.
the bit's done.
We're back, guys.
Yes.
And for the first time in like a month and a half, we're talking about an actual movie with history.
Well, we had Miracle last week.
Yeah, which was a sports movie again.
Yeah.
We're talking about something that happened in the past that actually is real, and I like it.
We
and
got
I'm
some
happy.
battles.
Yes, we got some battles. We got war.
Wait,
we got
sports don't
hate.
happen in the past?
Look, you know what I mean.
He means battles, like war.
Yeah.
When was the last time we had like actual battles? Like Mincemeat didn't have
war?
that.
Yeah, dude, we're lacking. But we're in the Middle Ages where we haven't been before. This is very exciting.
Yes. Is this the furthest back we've went?
No, because we were in Rome.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we did
That's-
Rome.
Yeah. yeah.
But
It's gonna be hard to go past that, right?
Oh, we could.
I guess the Greeks.
No, Apocalypto.
no, that's the
Is that-
1400s.
Is that 14?
Yeah.
Apocalypto?
Yeah,
Yes.
conquistadors.
Yeah, they come at the end.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
But yeah, there's movies in the dim and distant past. But right now, we're in the 12 and 1300s, right on the cusp of the century there.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people call this the High Middle Ages.
Aye.
It's just before the Renaissance. This is exciting. I'm happy to be here. It feels good to be back in the swing of things.
So Braveheart, we've all seen it before. I know we all have.
Yeah. Who doesn't love this movie?
What are your guys' thoughts on this movie?
So the first time I saw this was way back in 95 or 96. It was on VHS. I didn't see this in the theaters.
Okay.
And my family from Britain were here. They had come to visit, and we sat down and we watched Braveheart. And when the movie was over, the review from the British people was, "That was bloody brilliant."
Oh, they didn't hate
They
it.
loved it. They absolutely loved it. The next time they came, several years later, we watched The Patriot. So
Did they like The Patriot?
it's great.
So you love just bringing Mel killing
Mel
Brits.
killing English people, and the English can't get enough. That's that European nihilism for you.
Okay.
Is there anybody that could watch this and say it's anything less than a 10?
Yes, historians, because this is one of the most inaccurate movies ever made. You
I
know?
didn't know it was such bullshit.
Dude, it's like
Wildly.
There are literally dozens of just straight up lies in this movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't follow the narrative. In fact, at various points in this movie, the narrative of the movie doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
You know,
I
like
agree.
Robert the Bruce betrays him, right? Betrays William Wallace to be king of Scotland because the king of England, who wants to be king of Scotland, is letting him be the king of Scotland. Does this make sense to anyone?
It's like Game of Thrones style
think,
shit.
if you stop and think about this movie, like at any point,
It's
the whole thing
nonsense.
falls apart.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
It's emotion.
Yeah. Look, the movie does capture the spirit of the age, right? It's about freedom, which is something that should be familiar to you all, but which sometimes is not, to quote Bruce Dickinson about the Klansman. It's Mel, and who doesn't love Mel?
I used to love Mel. After watching this, though, I was like, I wonder who Mel hates more, the English or the Jews? Because he loves killing the English on screen, and we know he hates the Jews from his various phone calls.
But this is Braveheart, a.k.a. Watch Mel Yell. That is the you could watch just 3 scenes with him yelling in this movie, and it will tell you the entire film.
It's funny you say that because one of the things that stuck out to me in this most recent watch, I hadn't seen it in a little bit, is how little dialogue there is in the movie. There's not a whole lot. Most of it is said by Longshanks.
Yeah, he speaks a lot.
Most of the other characters, so much is conveyed by just looking and epic music. We get what's happening just by the atmosphere of the film.
Which is
Would you agree
brilliant.
with me?
Oh yeah, the cinematography is great. John Toll, who's the cinematographer for this, fucking killed it.
Just won Best Picture, right?
It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Cinematographer. It's a masterpiece.
It really is.
This is a top 10 movie for me. I cry at the end every time I
And
see
I
it.
promise you, you're not alone in that. I think this is a top 10 movie for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's so well known and revered that it's hard to really say anything too bad about it. But there are things that you can point out, and we will touch upon those on
So
the show.
let's be honest. We were all thinking about South Park at the end as he's being tortured, right? You want to torture me, don't you? He's obsessed with being tortured.
It did pop into my head, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such an iconic episode.
Yeah.
I realized in this film, watching it this time, because you always watch it with a different kind of eye for the show, Scottish accents are great until you have to understand them without subtitles.
So they are notorious, the hardest accent to understand.
Yep.
And a lot of the AI technologies like Siri, Alexa, all that shit,
Can't understand people from Edinburgh.
they cannot understand Scottish accents, and it's like a problem for like the developers of these technologies. Like speech to text like doesn't work to Scottish. Like if I say, Siri, play Klansman by Iron Maiden. You know.
Blake Klansman by Ian Maiden.
Yeah. It won't
Just
work.
doesn't get it, yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, it's a weird accent. It's a great accent. I think it's fun to do.
My dog in my mind, like when I
Your dog is Scottish?
yes. So when I
What
Like-
the fuck are you talking about?
hold on, so like when
He's like, I just want to tell you about how much of a psychopath I am. Real quick.
you guys don't do imitations of your dog, like, or you don't have dogs, but like
cats.
to my wife, like we like, what do you think he's thinking? And when I say my dog's thoughts,
Scottish?
I have given him a Scottish accent.
Why is he Scottish?
I just think it's funny. I don't know. He refers to me as the fat one. Like when
That's fair.
he doesn't
That's
know
good,
our
yeah.
names, he's
That's
like
funny.
the fat one.
It's fun.
I think it's funny.
Well, this movie opens up immediately with amazing music.
Rolling hills,
Oh my
bagpipes, and narration.
Yes.
Oh man.
So, Ant, real quick, before we dive into the plot, what is this movie actually like about?
Oh, like the history?
Yeah, kind of like what is like
Where are we at the start?
yeah, going into it.
not just going into it, because I know we have foreign listeners who sometimes haven't seen the movies and they get like,
Dude, this movie is from 25 years ago.
but just real quick, like what is like the history of like this event?
Okay. So, first of all, the movie the movie is wrong right off the bat.
Immediate.
The first thing that happens is it says Scotland 1280.
Yeah.
The events of this movie begin in 1286.
So it's 6 years off.
6 years off right off the bat. And then the first line of the movie tells you, historians from England will call me a liar. I'm covering my own ass for what I'm about to do. So, it is 1286. Alexander III of Scotland is the king. He
Okay.
dies. He has no heir.
This is in reality.
This is in reality. So, the throne of Scotland is up for grabs among the nobility.
The Klansmen.
The various noble houses. They are vying for power, and 14 people come forward and say they are the rightful next king of Scotland. In an attempt to avert civil war in Scotland, the Scots make a terrible decision. They ask Edward I of England, the Longshanks, later to become the Hammer of Scotland, to mediate their dispute.
Are the Scots like mentally ill? Like what
At the
is
time, they had very good relations with him.
Okay.
They were his, like, not allies per se, but they had a good working relationship with their neighbors to the south. So Ed comes up north, and he
I
looks
got a
around.
solution.
Now, Edward the First, let's talk about him for a second. He is a conqueror. He has conquered Wales. He's been on crusade.
He's been conquering on their little island.
He's expanding his realm.
Okay.
And, well, you know what? I have to get into this, too, because it's going to come into play later. This is the Plantagenet dynasty of England, which is it's probably the longest running dynasty in British history. The kingdom had been in this family for like 200 years at this point. And one of the hallmarks of their reign is they still have claims to land in what is today France. So, for people who don't know, if you're not familiar with European history, one of the major events of the Middle Ages is in 1066, William the Conqueror of Normandy sailed across the English Channel from Normandy and conquered England. He became King of England, but at the same time, he is also the Duke of Normandy. And in being the Duke of Normandy, he is officially subservient to the King of France.
Oh, so
So he's double dipping.
He is the Duke of Normandy
and the king.
and the King of England.
Okay.
And the English kings going forward, they'll fall out of his family and into the Plantagenet one going down the line. They gain massive tracts of land, and they also claim to be heirs to the French throne as well.
Ah, so like we have a blood claim on that as well.
Yeah.
And that's why
And the French also claim to be the kings of England.
Okay.
So there is all kinds of stuff happening. At one point, England controls most of France, including like places like Aquitaine, Brittany, and all these places down south. By the time this happens, the movie starts, they've lost all of that, but they still claim it. They still say it's theirs.
yeah, we're not there right now, but we still own it.
Right. And that's why throughout the movie, Edward will be talking about how he's in France pushing his
Yes.
rights there and doing things like that. So he's there to mediate this. And what he does is he gets this guy, John Bilal, who is he's got the second best claim. The best claim is Robert the Bruce. He says, this guy, John, is going to be king. He has my backing.
He can't wait to be king.
But Edward's
There's
plan,
a whole musical number.
there's lions, there's a toucan.
yeah.
Gilbert Godfrey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gilbert Godfrey.
John Balliol.
That's the role. Wait, Gilbert Godfrey is not in The Lion King. He's in Aladdin.
Who played the? Oh, I'm thinking
yeah.
of the parrot. Then
That's
yeah.
Iago.
that's Iago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iago is the parrot in Aladdin.
Right. John Balliol is made King of Scotland.
Okay.
In the movie, and this is all in the beginning, so we're getting it. The nobles get hanged in a hut. Right?
Yep.
None of this happened.
No, of
This
course
is
not.
an invention
Yeah.
of the film.
This is, you have to hate the British from the first
They
5 minutes.
They just make them the most evil human beings to walk the face of the earth. Apparently, every single Englishman is evil, which is just no.
So they have this new king, but he's a puppet of Edward. And Edward is pressing him to collect taxes from his people and then send them down to England. And he's also forcing them to submit troops to his war in France, which they don't want to do. So the Scots get it in their heads to betray Edward I, which they do, and sign an alliance with the French. This causes the English now to invade Scotland. They go to Stirling Castle. They besiege it. They capture Balliol. They kill him. And Edward installs viceroys all over Scotland to now rule Scotland.
Bunch of governors.
He's essentially annexed the entire country
Yeah.
and made it part of the British Empire, well, the English Empire. This all happens in 2 years.
It's very fast.
The movie would have you think that the English have been dominating Scotland for like decades.
They say, does he say hundreds of years?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just decades.
We'll have something we never had, the country of our own.
Right.
You had a country of your own, like 10 minutes. they
Yeah, they have a king.
right.
Like, what are you talking about?
Wallace. Okay, so now we have to talk about William Wallace. In the movie, what is he? He's a
Freedom fighter.
no. At the start, he's
He's a farmer.
he's a young man, a young boy.
yes.
He's a farmer. He's a commoner.
He's a regular man.
He's none of this in real life.
Yes. In real life, he's
He's the son of a noble, a minor
Yes.
noble. He doesn't really have a claim to the throne or anything. His older brother, in the custom of the time, the older brother will inherit all the land. So the younger brother, which he is, as he is in the movie, kind of dedicated himself to becoming a man-at-arms. He's a knight, essentially,
Yeah.
without being knighted. There's strong evidence, we don't know this, that he may have actually fought in Edward I's army in Wales.
really
Yeah, like as a mercenary.
okay.
And at some point, we don't know what exactly set him off. We'll get into what it is in the movie in a second. But he will start an insurrection at Lanark, which is that town, and it spreads like wildfire, where the people of the Highlands come down like they do in the movie, and then this goes into let's talk about the movie before I go any further.
All right.
So in the movie, go ahead.
Well, what's like this real event called? Is it like the Scottish Rebellion? Like
The First War of Scottish Independence. There will be others.
okay, so this movie is the story of the First War of Scottish Independence,
Yes.
where basically they are struggling against the British fighting for their freedom. The English. What's the difference?
The whole thing is Britain. The Scots are just as British as the English are.
Okay, so
Britain
I have
is
to,
anyone who lives in the British Isles.
I specifically have to call them English.
The English, there's the Scots, there's the Welsh, there's the Irish.
Okay,
The United Kingdoms.
you know what they all are to me?
What?
Filthy non-Americans. That goes for anybody on the planet.
Especially the Danes. Fucking.
You're attacking the Danes. No, we love the Danes.
We don't like the redcoats.
We got an email like most of our listeners are Danish apparently.
Danes and Dutch.
Yeah. No, we love them. Everybody but them. All right, so
Let's talk about the movie.
So real quick, it's the story of the Scots fighting against the English for independence.
Yes.
Simple.
Yes.
Yeah, and it starts with young William in a potato sack outfit, moving stuff.
I want to go.
Oh, bless me bagpipes.
Bring back potato sack outfits. You know, like we need those more in our life. That looks so uncomfortable. Yeah, they are living a really harsh existence. In this. Like they're in mud huts.
Life sucks in the Middle Ages.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it does. But
I don't think they were in mud huts though.
why
at
are
this
the
time.
Scots in this movie? They're like prehistoric.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
know?
about. Mud huts.
They're like, they go into battle. No one has armor.
No,
Why?
well,
Because in reality,
armor
both
doesn't matter.
Both sides, armor doesn't matter. They cut through it like it's butter.
It goes through. Chainmail in this exists, but it doesn't really exist.
They don't even have like swords. They come to battle with sticks and shit. It's a mess. They show up naked and everything. The kilt hasn't been invented yet. I just have to say that.
Oh, in real life.
Yeah, the kilt doesn't come around until like the
So are they wearing
1700s.
pants?
Yes. Yes.
So wait, the kilt's not around till the 1700s?
Yeah.
So in 500 years, America's fighting for their independence, and they're like, you know, it'd be a good idea if we wore dresses.
It's like a cultural
Man
thing. I'm
skirts.
not. I don't know the history of the kilt,
I love kilts. Bring back kilts.
but yeah.
gotta wear
At this
more.
point in time, the kilt does not exist.
You know, there's people like who are wearing kilts now, like as a fashion.
Scots.
trend. No, like outside of Scotland.
Oh, Kanye West did it.
Yeah,
At the 12-12-12
Yeah, other
concert.
people are doing it now. They're like, I love kilts. They're comfortable. Kilts are coming back in a big way. I'm happy.
They're kind of cool.
We need
You
potato
can flash
sacks
your
too,
dick
though.
easy.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You've had experience with that.
Flashing my dick?
No, so
Oh shit!
you've had experience with that.
I did.
What?
A Scottish man in a kilt
Oh,
Flashed
yes.
me.
flashed him.
We went to two heavy metal festivals in
Europe.
2008. One was in France, one was in Belgium, and at the Belgian one, the last day of the concert, we were walking back from like the show area to where we had a campsite, and it's just a sea of people, you know, thousands of people that were at the show,
Tens of thousands.
walking back to these tents, pitch darkness, middle of the night. It had to be like 2 a.m, and out of the darkness, I hear screaming, and it's coming towards me. I was all by myself. And I completely forgot this happened. The man is, I hear screaming, and he's coming. It's coming closer and closer and closer.
Freedom!
And then a guy wearing a kilt stops in front of me. I have to assume he's Scottish. Screams in my face. He goes, "Ah!" Pulls his kilt up, shows me his dick, and then runs off into the night again. And that was my encounter with a kilt-wearing man.
Kilts are great. We need more.
But yeah, so the movie starts. His father and brother are summoned to
They're going to the gathering.
the gathering.
And-
No juggalos.
No, there's juggalos there. There's Shaggy Two Dope. He's Scottish, you know.
Twisted.
Violent J. Violent J sounds like it could be a Scotsman.
I mean, they all have face paint.
They're gonna throw bags of
Again.
shit at the British.
Let's talk about the face paint for a second.
Do we? All right. Well, we're not there yet. But
I
we
know.
Can talk about
but
the face paint.
At one point, everybody knows
Everybody
this movie.
knows, yeah.
He shows up and his men show up
They
with
all
the
have
blue face
war
paint,
paint,
which
yeah.
is a thing that the Picts used to do. Do you know the Picts?
Oh yeah.
You probably know because they were in the movie we saw with what's
Channing Tatum.
with Channing Tatum.
Eagle.
The Eagle. The Picts are a Scottish tribe, pagan as all hell, from literally
Rome.
1,000 years before this movie takes place. They lived above Hadrian's Wall, and they would paint their bodies blue. The deeply, deeply Catholic Scotsmen of this era would not be wearing pagan war paint. Okay?
Yeah, they're praying before they go into battle.
Right.
Oh, but war paint's cool.
They just want them to
looks
be as
cool.
like
It looks cool.
Savage barbarians.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're like a Neolithic society that has survived.
and it makes no sense. Like they don't even have huts that hold water. Like it's like straw huts.
Yeah, they all live in straw.
And it's like
they look like
no.
hobbits.
Yeah, it's like no, they were not living in huts at this
They
time.
had towns,
Yeah,
and castles.
even if you were on the outskirts in a town, you still built a house that you
Right.
have wood. You're in the woods. There's no reason to have mud huts.
All right.
I don't understand what they were doing.
There's a hit piece on the sky.
Yeah.
And somehow the British still come across worse.
Yes.
Well, the English, sorry.
So what happens?
So
is
they go to
tragedy.
the gathering. They throw bags of shit at Tila Tequila. They fought. You know about that, right?
It's a gathering of juggalos.
Yeah. So they find a bunch of dead Scots, and they're like, "We got to go fight the English." And Mel Gibson's father goes off to fight the English.
Will wants to go with them, and he's like, "Get the fuck
You
outta
can't.
here.
No.
I want to go.
You're 7. Leave."
And then we
I can
see.
fight. I know you can fight.
He fights his friend. Apparently, they kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
constantly.
Hamish.
Yes.
Which
Who's
reminds,
Monk.
yeah,
He's
Yeah.
in Bruges.
Yep.
reminds me of my
Brendan
childhood when they were playing, because that's how we played. We used to be very violent towards each other.
We'd fight.
I'm talking to Brian with this one. Brian and I, when we grew up together, and we would fight a lot. Kind of play fighting, but definitely violent. Were
More
did
homoerotic.
More homoerotic.
Who
Did you
threw
have
rocks at the skulls and rocks better? You or Brian? I should have remembered.
I think Brian probably had a better throwing
Yeah.
arm than I did. Yeah. What did you have like a violent childhood?
Yeah, I mean every
Same.
kid like gets in bouts with.
Did
his
you ever have a
friends.
rock fight?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah, we used to play a game called Sniper Rocks,
Okay.
which was a bunch of kids would stand on two sides of a creek and throw rocks at each other.
Did you ever play fireballs?
What's fireballs?
Fireballs when your friend finds his parents' lighter and you take what was called itchy balls. They were little like
Oh,
seed
yeah.
pods that like had hooks on them.
Right,
and it would
yeah.
stick to your clothes.
Off like a pine tree.
Off a pine tree. You would set it on fire and try to get it to stick to your friend's clothes.
That was fun. I liked that game.
One time,
Don't try this
we
at
were
home.
playing Sniper Rocks, and Paul Lombardo got hit in the back of the
Nobody
head
knows who that is.
with a heavy like stone. I thought he was dead.
Did you throw it?
No, he was on my team. He got
Oh,
hit.
your teammate went down.
Yeah, so it starts. There's some nice child abuse going on. They're beating each other up. It's a feel good movie right off the bat.
So his dad is dead,
And his brother.
and his brother, and then
It's a sad
a
scene.
little girl runs over and gives young William Wallace a flower while at the funeral.
Murrin.
Merlin.
Kid's crying. It's very, very sad. Very sad. But then his uncle comes by.
Uncle Argyle.
Oh, God,
He's
so
a
great.
He's awesome.
We needed more of him.
Brian Cox.
Oh, he's
Who doesn't love
badass.
Brian Cox? Anytime he's in anything.
He's fantastic.
He was in Deadwood.
Yes, he's such a bastard in that.
He sets that kid straight real
He's in
quick.
that show everyone loves now, Secession.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I haven't watched it though. There's probably some great joke we could make link to it, but we're just culturally irrelevant
I don't
to
know.
us.
I don't know Succession.
We get a midnight bagpipe funeral because
Playing outlawed tunes. Like
Yeah.
Outlawed pipes.
I'm going to teach you how to use this. Takes out a giant longsword.
Yes.
but first I'm gonna teach you to use this.
Yes.
He taps his
Great.
head.
Great.
Yeah.
So now we get to years later, and it is the Longshanks wedding
No, it is the wedding of
His son.
Edward II.
to Sophie Marceau.
Electra King.
Electra King. Thank you. I'm glad we got to bring the Bond reference up right away. She plays a Bond villain in The World Is Not Enough, my favorite Pierce Brosnan movie, one of my favorite Bond movies. Sophie Marceau is one of the most beautiful women to ever exist.
Agreed.
14 out of 10.
She is fucking ridiculous.
14 out of 10.
Now let's talk about Princess Isabella.
Okay.
When this movie begins. Actually, no. When William Wallace dies.
She would be 3 years old.
9 years old.
9. Okay.
So we have to assume
Everything with the princess in this movie, who plays a very large role
be
in this
8.
movie, is bullshit.
she would have been 8 years old at the before he
The
died.
day he died,
She turned
was
9.
9 and living in France.
So let's assume that did happen in real life. He would be a very bad pedophile.
Very bad. Very bad.
You mean
man.
he'd be like a regular man from that time?
We certainly wouldn't be celebrating him.
Wait, in reality though, isn't that like every man at that time? Like they would sleep with like a 9-year-old?
No, 9 is no.
That's
no.
too young even for back then.
I mean, it depends. There are child brides, but I still think they're not even that young. Usually they're like 11.
You are my child bride.
I am your father groom. I'll give you everything. You just can't leave your room. I love that song so much.
Amazing.
I sing it to my wife all the time because she's like 4 years younger than me. So I call her my child bride and sing her that song. She fucking hates it, and I'll just do it nonstop.
So we see this smoke show of a princess, and we see that clearly Edward's son has a different intention in his sexual preferences.
Now, there is reality to this.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if I should get into it now or later.
Well, they show that
can-
he's interested in a man.
Can I say one thing real quick to kind of defend the historical accuracy of this movie?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Hard to do.
I know, but so are you familiar with Blind Harry?
Yes, I am. I
Okay.
was about to talk about that when we got into Murrin a little bit.
Okay. So Blind Harry is the man who
He wrote The Wallace.
he wrote The Wallace, which is basically the story of William Wallace, the oldest recorded account.
Yes. So William Wallace, the real man, lived in the late 1200s into the early 1300s. In the 1400s, so roughly 100 years after he's dead, this guy, Blind Harry, was commissioned by the Scottish royalty to write a poem about William Wallace as like a national epic. Okay?
Right.
And we get a lot of the tropes in the film, the legend of the man comes
that.
from this.
Okay.
100 years after that, the poem was revised by the nobility at that time to add in his wife, who never existed. The real guy wasn't married, as far as we know.
William Wallace wasn't married.
Right. The nobility in the 1500s now add this character of Marion.
Marion.
Not Murrin. I don't know where they got that.
Well,
from.
so I looked it up. They changed the name Marion because everyone would think of Robin Hood.
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah.
No, that's exactly why they did it. That's what they said.
That makes sense.
And they added this character Marion so that the nobles of the time could draw a lineage from this fictional character to say we are descendants of William Wallace.
Yes.
And the movie borrows from that.
So
Which
the
is,
movie,
they're drawing from something. It's not like they pulled it out of thin air.
Yeah.
With that stuff.
It's
Because-
more so reflective of the epic story that they told with that, not the actual history. They're doing the story.
So one other thing, as far as us saying that he never met the princess, apparently, according to Blind Harry's account, Wallace had a secret meeting with Margaret of France, who would have been Edward II's stepmother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So it's possible that part is real, not Isabella, though. That was
Well,
bullshit.
Isabella is a real person.
Yes.
She will become Edward II's wife later down the road. She will bear him children, and she will become known as, this is going way into the future, the she-wolf of France. She will betray her husband
Yep.
and install her son on the throne of
Edward
England.
III, right?
Yes.
So that's actually not too. They added that kind of into
They
the movie.
kind of put it in the movie.
Yeah.
Now,
This is like her origin to become that.
right. And let's talk about that for a second. Since we're already going down this road, I'll just talk about
We're talking about Sophie Marceau. So
Yeah. So Edward II was a homosexual.
He was.
Yes.
Okay.
When his father was on campaign in Scotland, he brought his son with him.
The military
and
expert.
tried to imbue some love of battle in him and couldn't get him to care about shit. But he did get him a good squire, a knight, who is named. Hold on.
Sir Long Dick.
Had to a knight with the hardest armor.
Edward
and-
Gaveston. Edward Gaveston is a knight,
Edward.
and he's been attached to Edward II before he's Edward II when he's
Well,
a prince.
and he's attached to him.
Multiple ways.
And they fall in love. And
it's a whirlwind romance.
Right. This
So-
is the character Philip is very obviously based on this guy.
So it's Edward, Edward,
Edward,
and then there's a third Edward.
the son that is born later.
Well, but yeah. So what you're saying is there's Ed, Ed, and Eddie,
Correct.
and they're looking for medieval jawbreakers.
So Edward,
his jaw's going to be broken in one way.
Edward Gaveston. This is now Edward the Longshanks. Edward I is dead. Edward II is king. Edward Gaveston is his favorite. He flaunts his influence over the king very openly.
Oh, so he brags like
He brags. He talks about how he has the king's ear and can get whatever he wants.
he also has the king's ass
Yes.
and his dick.
This annoys the nobility down in London.
Because they're like, we got this guy parading
So
around.
while he's on a hunt, they hack him to death with swords.
Okay.
Edward II's very upset. Meanwhile, his estranged wife is back in France plotting against him. When she does raise an army and overthrow her husband, she will take she has a person, she doesn't do it herself, take a hot poker and shove it up his ass. And that is how she kills Edward II.
Damn.
Wow.
Yes.
She's cold.
Right.
Well, at least Edward went out doing something he loves.
Brutal, brutal way to die, I would imagine.
Can't be fun.
There's a lot
Jesus
of brutal
Christ.
ways to die. in
And as
medieval
far
times.
as Princess Isabella goes, we will talk about her in the movie going forward. We don't need to talk about her in real life anymore because everything she does happens after all this is over.
Yeah.
Are there any like portraits of her?
Oh, yeah. She's an important person.
Does she look like
Was she a looker?
Yes.
does she look like
by all
Sophie
accounts.
Marceau at all?
I mean,
As far as the drawings?
the costume's good. It's a good
Okay. Oh,
costume.
really?
All right.
She's got that white neck thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silly hats. English love silly hats in this. Oh, wow.
Medieval people love a good hat.
I went to medieval times recently.
Oh, how was that?
They didn't have enough of silly hats.
Really?
I was disappointed with the amount of silly hats.
The hats get even better in the Renaissance.
Yeah, they're pointy. They're like
Yeah.
wide.
You get a
like 'em.
jester.
Yeah, jester hats.
So we're at a war room meeting, right? And they're kind of just discussing events, and the Queen is there.
Yes.
And
Trouble with Scotland.
oh well, we have the iconic line.
It's full of Scots.
I think that
Longshanks is such a bastard. Every second he's on scene.
He's actually one of the best villains ever.
Yes,
Yeah.
by far one of the most hateable, detestable villains. There's not a single redeeming quality about him.
He
it's
is
almost too evil that it's hoaxy.
Well, I had a question for you. Is he more evil than Jason Isaacs in The Patriot?
Yes.
He's more of a
Yes.
bastard.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Yes. He wants to breed a race of people out of
Yes,
existence.
he wants genocide.
Yeah.
Is that
We'll
the,
kill theirs too.
is that the most quoted line from this movie?
The trouble with Scotland?
Is full of Scots. I feel like that might
maybe
be
amongst us.
Freedom is the big line.
amongst us.
No,
though.
what about
Every man dies.
Every man
yeah,
li-
not every man
lives.
And all right, so let's talk about Prima Nocta.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not real.
Not real.
Not real at all. Nope.
There's never been a historical document for this at all.
Never.
It is the easiest way to get a revolt I've ever heard.
Yes.
It only takes 2 instances.
It's like I hate my people and I want them to kill me. Let me institute this crazy idea.
It's so batshit insane that like
It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
and like
And when you're a kid and you see this movie for the first time, like you trick yourself into thinking this is a reasonable.
Well, hold on. You think that this exists, but let's not forget this came out in '95.
Mm-hmm.
You're not finding out this is real unless you go to the library and you start doing research looking for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
to look this up online, like it would take fucking hours.
Right. Yeah, you're right. This is a crazy fucking
You
idea.
couldn't pull this off now.
All right, what is it?
Prima nocta, and my wife was like, "I don't understand what this is."
She watched it with you?
Yeah,
She'd never seen it before?
she had never seen it.
What'd she think?
Prima nocta.
She liked it. She thought it was good. She's
so
like, "It's
dumb.
long though."
It is long.
Yeah,
But
prima nocta.
you need every minute.
Oh yeah,
No, you don't. We'll get into it.
prima nocta. I was like, is the policy when the nobles get to have first crack at a woman's virginity?
You'll be giving sexual rights to them on the night of their wedding.
It's just so stupid. Now, I'm sure there's parts of history and humanity that are worse than something like that, but it's just so
It's
absurd.
the most.
It's so
It's
absurd.
mentally
the most insulting
It's
thing.
so insane
Right.
that it's like even the worst thing in history where I could think of like human
Let me
sacrifices and shit like
violate
that
the
are
women
not
of a
that bad.
nation. And
You have to stand by and
enrage their
watch.
men into a frenzy.
It's
it's
legit.
not-
We're gonna
yeah.
cuck you, and there's nothing you could do about
And
it.
it's not even like this is a conquered nation. They're like allies. You know, like they're paying taxes.
Yeah.
Like if it's a conquered nation and you're trying to kill everyone,
And
oh, okay.
let's also, just to talk about the logistics of the whole situation, the north of Scotland is completely ungovernable to the English. They can't, like, do anything to those people up there. They don't have, like the terrain is so rugged.
Yeah, they don't have, like,
they can't
garrisons.
send an army up there that's going to, like, fight, like, kill,
Well, look,
occupy them.
I
They don't
think
have enough
that's,
men. They're also fighting wars in France, and they're sending people on crusade. And they're occupying Ireland at the same time. Like, they're not fucking doing any of this shit.
Right. And you when you look at like which I guess I don't know how true this is, but the garrisons of English troops in the area seem to only have like
Yeah, they have a handful of
10
guys.
Like what there's 10 people. You can't overthrow 10 people? What are you doing? You'd think that the 10 guys were like, this prima nocta shit. There's like 100 guys out there. You sure you want to do this?
Right. And instead you have this wacky
And they all have arms.
this wacky magistrate with a cape. Who's like,
cape.
let me
Why are they all wearing capes?
you know, I'm lording over this clannish society where the neighbors all know and care about each other and that they treat each other like brothers. Let me kill their daughter to flush out this one guy. That won't turn out bad for anybody. You know? That's coming, but
Yeah. So we get prima nocta, and then Mel comes back, right? Yeah. And he has a rock fight with his buddy Brendan Gleeson playing Hamish.
move.
This is when you see Mel was a studly, handsome lad.
Oh yeah,
Sexiest man in America.
My God.
Sexiest man in the world, right?
My God.
maybe. Yeah, why not?
No, he was voted that.
Sexiest man in the world.
Yes.
I would
He's
not
like
be
in
surprised.
magazines.
He
and
just
shit.
Yeah.
smiles and you
He's a
you melt.
stud.
He's Mel.
He's so studly in this. He woos a woman with just a cheesecloth.
Yeah.
And he's got her. That's it. That's all you got to do. Here's a cheesecloth.
So he finds the girl that gave him the flower, and he's kept it this entire time.
There's a lot of good character building stuff in this scene. We get the
Stone
The beautiful
throwing.
cinematography.
yes.
Oh, yeah. It looks great.
But how did the flower last? Like, what? How long is this supposed to be? 20, 30 years?
It's got to be at least 20 years, right?
Yeah. How did this flower last?
It just did.
I'd say,
Yeah.
yeah, close to 20 years. 15,
I'm not even gonna shit on that because just
Well, it's for the audience.
oh yeah. I just from my life, my parents have their wedding invitation in a frame from the 80s.
That's fine.
No, well, listen. They have their wedding invitation from the 80s in a frame in their bedroom, and it's been there my whole life. And in the frame with it is a flower, and the flower's still there.
Oh, it's
But is it
taxidermed.
kept?
It's taxidermed.
It's like in an enclosed frame. Like
Something
away-
was done to it.
Yeah.
though.
It was
Maybe.
taxidermed.
No,
That's
we
quite
have
possible.
we have flowers from our wedding too, in like a resin thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh okay. I didn't
But
know.
like to just put it in a cloth and have it last
Yeah.
20 years in like the harshest conditions imaginable.
Well, he's been in Rome and
Yeah. That's even worse. He's been traveling everywhere with this thing for 20 years
And fighting.
and fighting with Uncle Argyle.
yes. That's something we'll have to remedy. I don't speak Latin. Okay, so now he's attached to Murren at the hip.
Yes.
They're having
courting.
a whirlwind romance.
The father
He's told them-
disapproves of it.
Yes, he's told the clan leaders that he wants to stay out of any sort of uprising or rebellion.
Yep.
Want to fight? Simple farmer.
Much like Benjamin Martin,
Yeah,
it's the same movie.
it's the same thing.
It's the same freaking.
The Patriot's a remake of this, 100%.
Yes.
It's the same
Yes.
story.
Because he was like, Braveheart worked. I'm just going to do it again. And you know what? It fucking works again, too.
Yep.
Did anyone else fight against the British? Because I'm down for a fucking third one.
Mel is the Boers.
Mel is Gandhi. So he says one of my favorite lines in the
Yes.
movie.
Good Scottish weather.
Not just that. I love you.
love you.
Always have.
Always have.
That's how you should propose, even today.
It is smooth as fuck,
That
his
is
proposal.
just-
When my sons arrive. Oh, you have sons then? No,
He
but I
is
thought
so
you could help me
smooth.
out with that.
So smooth. And you know what? I prefer intimate proposals. Like that's how I proposed. Intimate. I don't like
Boy, we're gonna
the
hear romantic Steve. What
yeah
did you
no
do?
I don't like the new age of proposals where you have to have like 50 people around.
The female listeners are making noises resembling mac and cheese right now as Steve tells this story.
Between their legs, you mean?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Wet as October.
No, you don't agree? You don't think?
I agree. I agree with you. Brian doesn't.
I think everything must be a giant public
Production.
spectacle and production. If you're not going big and telling everybody in the world, did it happen?
I love you. Always have.
So now we get to they get married in secret in the forest.
Yes.
And this scene,
And they have lake sex.
They have lake sex.
it looks cold
It does look cold.
because they have like their breath in the air, and I don't know it. Did you think she turned around and was just disappointed?
Not with Mel.
No.
Mel,
it's just-
Mel can't be affected
Yeah.
by the cold like that. And literally the next day,
Yes.
she's in the village with a wicker basket.
And they have PDA. They're like flirting with each other.
Yes.
And then a random British soldier decides, I'm going to rape her.
Now, I want to talk about this guy for a second.
Yes. You remind me of my daughter. And then he
Yes,
tries to rape
This guy
her.
is one of the creepiest people who's ever existed. He looks like just an evil
He
scumbag.
looks like a rapist.
you look at this guy, that guy's a rapist,
yeah.
right?
Do you know what's weird about him, though? They give him this moment after they kill her where he looks sad.
He's like
He knows
he
he did
knows
something
this is
wrong.
my fault. I
Yeah,
did
he
this.
did
But
something
it's such a weird moment to give that character.
Right. Now, I just want to talk about this for a second. He grabs her, he takes her behind like a stack of sticks, because that's all that exists
Yeah.
in this village. And he throws her on the
sold-
ground, and
He has guards.
he does this. He licks her face, and he goes, "Mm." Now, I do this to my wife on a regular basis.
No. Is it because of this?
Yes, I am impersonating. She doesn't know. She doesn't know this. She'll hear this and be like, "Oh my god, I impersonate this guy all the fucking time." My wife will be laying down, and
That's
I'll,
why the-
and I'll just I will walk over, and I don't lick her face, but I like kiss her, and I make that noise. Mm.
This is the creepiest fucking
And
thing.
as I'm watching it, I'm like, I can't wait to tell them this.
You're a fucking ghoul.
Mm.
Please tell me you do that before getting intimate.
Yes. Yes, I do it all the time. And I am impersonating this guy from this movie. She has no idea what I'm doing.
So she didn't watch this with you.
Not this time. She's seen it before, though. I've watched
But-
it with her before.
Does she know?
No.
Oh, so she's seen the scene and didn't pick up
She
on
didn't
it.
pick up on it.
So funny. How would you? It's like a one tidbit in a 3-hour movie.
Only a psychopath would
So
even notice it.
crazy.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
So we get a scene of the first recorded parkour because William saves her.
Well,
saves her.
well, no, he doesn't save her.
What are you talking about?
from the rape.
Oh, yes. He saves her from the
He
rape.
puts her on a horse,
Yeah,
and it
and
looks like
then-
she's gonna get away.
But then she gets whacked with a
And
pike.
he
Yeah.
does some parkour over the mud huts and gets away.
Yeah.
And then they put her at a stake, and the guy just calmly slits her throat. And the rapist looks sad about it,
Yes.
which is a moment I fucking hate.
Why?
I don't hate it.
Because it's like he should be a detestable rapist.
He didn't want her to die.
He's already detestable.
We shouldn't be giving him a moment where he's sympathetic.
Okay.
You know, I disagree with
He
that.
is garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, this magistrate is amazing. The sheriff in his cape, his red and white cape.
Just waiting for the guy to come
Yes.
back.
Now this scrapper will come to me.
Yeah. Now, didn't this actually happen, kind of?
We don't know. We don't know what started the Lanark uprising. We just know William Wallace was behind it.
I thought he actually killed a sheriff.
Oh, he certainly did. The uprising happened. We don't know what started. In the movie, it's because they killed his wife. In reality,
He didn't
who the
have a
fuck
wife,
knows?
yeah.
This happened in
Okay.
1295 or whatever it is.
So I'm looking at something where
Okay.
it has like parts. It's like a historical fact check. And they say that the story is that his wife was killed by the sheriff of Lanark, William
Then
Helserig.
this is what was added in the 1500s.
Okay, this is an add-on to
Yeah.
Blind Harry's account.
Right.
Okay.
To make the character better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that noble families could draw their lineage from him.
But in the movie, Mel is on a horse and he's doing the "come get me" move, which is you put your arms out
Yes.
and he kind of like put them behind
And
his
it's in
head.
super slow-mo.
So super slow mo, and you just know like he's just gonna pull out.
There's
a sword.
about to be just
Shit's going down.
a rain of horror upon these British people, these English people.
Whether other
Doesn't he
people,
do the same thing in The Patriot?
No. Oh, when they kill his son.
Yeah, right?
They kill his son.
He rains
and
horror.
He rains an unimaginable horror on those guys. Yeah.
so
It's the same scene.
It's the same movie.
Yeah.
Mel in this is William Wallace in this is cutting through armor like it's butter with anything and everything.
Is this when he throws the
there.
sword
He
at a guy
throws
charging
a
at him?
sword, it goes through him and the guy gets pushed back.
What's great about this scene, though, is you feel the tension of the other people.
They're terrified.
Well, no, they're not terrified. They're angry.
Yes.
Like everyone is in a rage.
Oh, the
and
Scots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he is the spark that's going to set them off.
Yes.
And it's just, that's what happened.
They all just start
Everybody
going.
jumps in.
Well, it's a full rebellion
Yes.
Mel
they kill
Yeah.
everyone.
William Wallace kills a guy with like a deer horn.
Yes.
He just takes it and puts it in the guy's neck and just doesn't even
Yeah,
think about it.
because
just keeps going.
none of the Scots have weapons. They've had all their weapons confiscated. They've been
Yeah.
practicing with stones. That's what that whole thing.
now. Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
they're throwing rocks.
And
But can you do it when it counts?
right, yes. Could you crush a man with that throw, like a worm? And then they start looting the English soldiers
They
of
just
their
start killing
weapons
them
and their
all.
armor. Yeah. And they don't manage to keep the armor for the rest of the movie because they just throw it away.
And you're so happy. You're so happy at that point.
Well, they know it doesn't work.
as a viewer. Yeah. It doesn't do
It
anything.
didn't help the British, the English at all.
You could take an arrow and just throw it, and it's gonna go through you. like that's how fast you throw things, apparently.
So then, yeah, they dress up as
Well, then the people start showing up from other clans.
They hear about the
Oh,
rebellion.
We
well,
don't want
actually,
you Amadons hogging all the fun.
well, before that, when they grab the sheriff, he calmly brings him to where he slit her throat.
yeah, I love this cut.
Awesome.
When he captures him, Mel is looking at him, and there's a sharp cut, a very
Yes.
noticeable cut, and the next thing you see is him kicking him down the stairs.
Yes.
And he's falling down this hill, and then he picks him up, puts him up against the post, and slits his throat.
Now,
Quickly.
Mel, like how did he know that's exactly how it happened? Because it all
He wasn't there.
Yeah, it seems so quick.
You assume that he was told. You could assume it.
No,
'Cause there's a
'cause-
bunch of people around who were there who saw it happen.
No, this is it's very much instant.
It's-
Nobody's
yeah.
having a conversation through this, you know. He just knows.
Yeah.
He has the second sight.
Yeah, he's like, all right, whatever. I
Or
guess
maybe
that's where he does
he's
it.
seen so many people reach the same fate that he's just going to.
Yeah,
do it to
maybe
this
that's
guy.
just where it
It
happens.
just happens. Yeah.
Maybe.
That's why it's
But
there, right?
I love this scene only because not only do you see William Wallace unfulfilled with that murder, you as an audience member see it happen and you're still unfulfilled. You're like, you yourself, your bloodlust is like, I need more. I need them to kill more English people. At least that's how I felt. I was like, that wasn't enough.
You became a racist? You hate the English now after you see this movie?
Oh, no, I meant in the film. Like the English soldiers. I won't kill real English people.
But that's kind of how you said it. You said, like, as an audience member, you want to
Yeah, watching the movie, you want William Wallace to kill more soldiers. You want him to get more vengeance. No, I'm not like, I need to go to England right now. Love, I'm getting a plane ticket. Gotta go. No, I feel like, because there's no music when he does it.
No.
He cuts the throat and he just looks.
There's
And
so many
it's just
great
like,
choices
wow.
made for this.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
cinematically.
So we get another great scene where, like, they drive up to a British garrison and they're disguised as
It's a
British.
fort, right.
It's a fort.
English.
It's an English. Sorry, I keep doing
it too. So, but we have to make that distinction
Yes.
because if anyone who knows the distinction hears this, it will infuriate. You know?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
So they drive up to an English garrison disguised as English soldiers, and they turn the tables, they capture them all, and
Well, they got other clans too, right? Like the other clans come down at night when to do this. It's not just them now. There's like a group.
yeah, and
right?
and they're the guy's like we have a whole thing of English soldiers coming out,
I have dispatched 100 men who will be returning now.
50.
where they're wearing these,
Actually, it was more like 50.
and where they're wearing these,
They're dressed like this. Yeah.
and then they bring out the guy whose girl they fucked
Make it
earlier, and he goes, "Do you remember me?"
He claims the right of a husband.
I'm the right of a husband, and he flails him to
Yes.
death.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
like,
it's
all right.
so awesome.
Oh,
it's so
it's-
satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great moment.
So then,
10 out of 10.
Yep. So then they're like, so then he's saying Scotland is free, and then we get the king yelling at the son,
Yeah.
and he humiliates him and yells at him,
Magistrate.
Yeah.
and then Edward goes
I need my military council and runs
and he
away.
leaves to go fuck this guy.
Yes, AKA, I need dick
I need,
now.
yeah,
Yes.
I need to be dicked.
So Longshanks tells him he's going to France to press their rights there.
Yes,
And he wants Edward II to handle the situation. in
put
Scotland.
down this rebellion.
Right. So what happens is he sends an army north, and they will eventually, well, in the movie, Wallace now is becoming, they're like doing raids.
Yeah,
There's like a montage.
yes, of them just kicking ass.
Right. Of them just kicking people's ass and more people joining them. People coming from all over. Some of the nobles even talk about
Yes.
joining them.
King talks about it.
Robert the Bruce.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. His father advises
His
him
leper father.
yes, to not join Wallace.
Now, do you?
Well, to support him like up here, and then their people in the South will support the
Yes.
English, and they're gonna play both.
Do you
sides.
agree
They're
with
doing
that?
Game of Thrones shit.
do you agree
It's
with
the political move? Yeah.
that move over the just straight war?
From his position, he sees this as an unwinnable war.
He's like, this is just a power play. We
Right.
can use this to our advantage in different ways.
Right, and that
Their goal is to be the king of Scotland. Right? Like the Bruce family.
In the movie.
okay.
Yes. In the movie, yes.
So in the movie, are they though? Because it seems like their goal is to gain as much lands and riches as possible,
and then,
and
in
then
turn,
say that we're going to be the king of Scotland, but they do nothing to further that. They do everything in their power to further England taking over Scotland.
so the way I've always interpreted it as
It makes no sense. That's what I was saying before.
so the way I've always interpreted it as they want as much land and power as possible. They
at some point in the future,
they will become the king of Scotland, right? But they will serve the king of England
as a vassal.
as a vassal. And I think that's the older Bruce's plan.
He does say something that we have to keep our culture alive. Something to that
Yes.
effect. Yeah.
Well, the older Bruce said that
There'll be nothing of Scotland left.
Right. The King of England is so brutal right now that if you cross him, he's not just going to like
Right.
kill you.
It's almost like he's
gonna
saying,
kill
wait
everyone.
out until
He's gone.
we have an opportunity.
Yeah.
But
because you
they're
if
not
you piss him off
seeing
now, you're dead.
opportunities that do arise. You know, it's like they're just about enhancing their own prestige. And
Well,
Now,
he's
is this
the
accurate
17th.
for as Wallace is doing this shit?
I'm sorry?
Is this accurate as Wallace is doing this shit?
So Robert the Bruce, contrary to how this movie portrays him, was
He
an
punched Mike
amazing-
Zapsik in the back of the head once. Robert the Bruce.
What are you talking about?
That's a Tell 'em Steve Dave joke. So there was a guy, Rob Bruce, who was on Tell 'em Steve Dave for a long time. He was a producer on Comic Book Men. He was like a big guy in like the Tell 'em
world?
Steve Dave world. Yeah,
That's his
he
real name?
He recently passed away. His name is Rob Bruce,
Oh, okay.
and he is an actual descendant of Robert the Bruce.
No.
Yeah,
Wow. That's pretty cool.
he recently passed away.
Real quick, while we're talking about lineage, my mother is into the genealogy shit.
Yeah.
She sent her spit away to get
Oh.
DNA tested. Nice. So I'm sure the CIA can kill me at any
Yeah.
moment. She discovered that apparently my people are descended from a pro-English clan in Scotland that fought against William Wallace.
You
and then-
piece of
and
shit.
had to flee the country for England at some
You're
point
the
back.
bad
You're
guy.
fucking
Yeah,
garbage.
You're
the
the bad
Lemoyne
guy.
clan. I don't know how accurate it is. This is what she's told me.
Really?
Yeah, I have their like. She bought me like this crest that's their family crest.
You piece of trash.
Yeah,
Wow. What was your British, like, your grandmother's surname?
Burden.
Burden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you are.
Yeah, I was wondering how I was going to bring this up, but yeah, there it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I was going to bring the thing in, but I forgot it.
So you come from a long line of rapists,
Of
apparently.
fucking- of traitors.
of Anglophile people that just love England and everything about it.
Rape Scots. That's why you love making the noise.
That was your ancestor. Your ancestor's that creepy rapist, you piece of shit. All right.
Oh, they have this montage, and then the Irish guy shows up.
Word is spreading
Yeah.
that
The
Wallace is a thing.
The princess is told about William Wallace, and she is creaming her
Yes.
pants immediately.
Every woman who hears about Wallace is in love instantly.
Yes.
Yes.
Because he's so fucking
He's doing it for the
manly.
love of his woman. And the Scots
Oh,
make...
by the way, the entire Edward I is the first English king since before William the Conqueror took over the country
Okay.
to speak English as his first language. The entire nobility and upper classes of Britain,
Latin?
of England, are speaking French.
Really?
Yes. So the whole thing where she speaks French and the rest of them don't understand it, you know, and then he understands it, what Mel Gibson understands because he learned it, is bullshit. You know,
That's so interesting to me that
Yeah.
they would all speak French.
they are. You have to look at the Plantagenet dynasty not as English kings, but as French nobility who are also kings of England.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so
does,
weird.
Does that mean like the French actually should rule England? That's what it sounds like.
In some respects, they have a decent claim to it. Yes.
That's why they hate each other.
Yes. And this will all culminate down the road in the 100 Years' War.
It still culminates today. When we were in France, we got yelled at because somebody thought we were
Well, that's
Englishmen.
the ancient rivalry that still
it's
exists.
still
I mean,
there.
they're the best of
It's insane.
allies for over 100 years now.
Yeah.
But
Look, the Germans start stirring things up,
Yeah.
and the Brits and the...
yeah, right.
Hold this for a
And
second.
look, and if the French start stirring things up, the Brits and the Prussians and Austrians,
Yeah.
they become buddies. Whatever one of the three needs to be smacked down.
balance of power.
Yeah.
Checks and balances, really. It's brilliant.
Where were we? Oh, yeah. So,
The princess is told about William Wallace. She's
Yes.
fawning, and we see the Scots start making battle plans, and they're going to make long spears.
well, they have the scene with the Irish guy. Should we talk about that for a second?
Steve the
My favorite character.
Stephen.
Stephen is
me.
my name.
Steven is my name. I feel like that's too
It's
happy.
mine.
Sounds too,
And
yeah,
he
it's-
was
It's
happy.
my island.
And he
I feel like
talks
was
to God.
crazy.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
he speaks
converses
directly.
with the
Well, you're
Almighty.
supposed to think he's crazy, but he's
Right.
not.
And then they have that scene where it looks like he's going to assassinate him.
Yes.
But in
Saves his
reality, he's saving him.
He wasn't right in the head.
Right. And then the Irish jig starts playing.
And Wallace is just, there's some comedy in this. Like, there's so much subtle
fun
comedy.
movie.
Yeah. That's the comedic relief,
Right.
Stephen.
Yes. So now the English army has been brought north,
Yep.
and we are going to have
The scene.
the Stirling. I can't call it Stirling Bridge.
Well, it's supposed to be.
It's Stirling, which is a fictional
field.
battle.
It's just a field.
In reality,
In reality, it's supposed to be Stirling Bridge. In the movie, they portray it much closer to the Battle of Bannockburn, which will happen after the movie is over. And
Okay.
I'll explain that in a second.
can we talk about the speech first?
Yes.
This is the scene of the movie. This is like the movie to
It's
me.
the legend. It's the movie. This is the scene that made this.
Win an Oscar and
Yes.
shit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Scottish army has all lined up for battle, and they are a collection of ragtag cavemen. Like we said, they have no armor. They're naked. They have sticks. They don't have swords.
Some of them have axes.
Like the Zulus, they have bone and arrows.
That's black and tan.
Black and tans, yeah.
The nobility are not much better. They're just the cavemen on horses.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only difference. They have horses.
Cavemen on horses.
And the
You think these are the people making Stonehenge?
yeah,
Like, it's
exactly.
just-
They're the
no.
same. The English army, on the other hand, is decked out professional. You know, they've got all the armor, all the artillery, all the
Horses,
shit. Yeah.
archers.
Let's talk about medieval tactics for a little bit.
Sure. I'm into that.
The battle-winning thing of the day at that point in time is heavy cavalry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heavy cavalry has taken over medieval combat completely.
Heavy cavalry has basically always been effective in modern warfare up until kind of
Charging light brigade.
no.
Oh, you mean like what killed that?
Well, in general, isn't it effective basically until like World War II?
So yeah, and World War One. World War One,
yeah,
it's
World War
over.
Yeah, the trenches.
Civil War, it was dying.
Medieval times and
Once technology,
That's, you know.
you could kill a man with a rifle from 100 yards away.
Yeah.
Being up on a horse is just bad. The machine gun,
But-
put the end to that.
I mean,
But-
even archers are a threat to cavalry.
yes,
But
yes, and that'll be shown at the Battle of
cavalry
Agincourt.
moves very fast, and cavalry is very big.
Well, think about this for a second. It is a guided missile, essentially. You take a guy who's a trained warrior, you give him a giant lance, you armor him up, you armor his horse up, and you have him charge as fast as he can at something. Get 100 of them, all going the same way.
Yeah.
It's an unstoppable force. This is what won the Battle of Hastings. This is what won countless battles in France and Germany and all over Europe, right? And the Crusades.
Why did the Romans not think of this?
The Romans were not big on they were infantry tactics mainly. They had cavalry obviously and adopted a lot of it. The German cavalry was famous, and then the Huns came with the archers and stuff.
Rome had a lot of wild horses.
What is the game changer that made all this possible is the stirrup. The invention of the stirrup. They didn't have it. The Romans just did not have stirrups.
Okay.
That was brought in, I think, from like the Turks or the Arabs or something, and then it permeated across Europe and changed warfare.
Like, this is great.
Yeah, there's like we can stand up on the horse essentially.
Yeah, we can control these
Yes.
things.
So, heavy cavalry, brutal as fuck. No one can stand up to it. This will change at the Battle of Bannockburn. It's kind of a really important fight
For
that
warfare.
happened. Yeah, for like the history of warfare, because the Scots invent the pike essentially. They make these long spears
Which
like
is
they
what
do in the movie.
Mel Gibson's like, make spears double the length.
Now, Bannockburn is Robert the Bruce's coup de grace. So after this movie is over, Robert the Bruce will take
This
over.
is at the end of the movie. What we
Yes,
see.
Yes.
it's the
yeah.
final battle in the movie. Edward II at this point has invaded Scotland and is going to take Stirling. And he hides out in the woods and has the pikemen, which they've sharpened these massively long spears, and move them across. He's used his cavalry to take out the English archers, and he's made he's kind of tricked their cavalry into attacking these spear formations, and they can fight them all day. And they do it, and they destroy the English army. And that's what wins Scottish independence. That has kind of been taken and put into this scene. You know?
Yeah.
The long pikes.
Yeah.
Which that has to be so. When you think about the logistics of putting a pike into a horse while you're stationary and the horse is moving, the amount of force that is hitting that
it has
pike.
to be exhausting, and yet these guys managed to do it for hours.
I think that you have multiple people holding one pike.
Probably.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because the horse hitting it will just push the pike back. Mm-hmm. Like if it's one person, you're going flying.
Right.
You're not going to sit there and it's going to go into the horse. Horses are fucking just muscle.
Right.
And
So-
they're big.
The real battle that happens here that we haven't discussed yet is Stirling Bridge. Wallace and his new army have realize that any English army coming from the south has to cross this bridge.
Yep.
And they hide out in the woods next to the bridge, wait for a third of the English army to cross it. They
Trap them on the
They
bridge.
sneak attack it, knock out the guys who have crossed it already, and then trap everyone else on the bridge. This makes the cavalry useless. They can't maneuver, and anybody else is now jumping off either into the river or they're stuck in the mud.
They can't
They
fight.
slaughter them. They destroy the English army, and this is Wallace's greatest moment. You
Yeah,
know?
this is his big
It
win.
makes him a legend.
Yes.
He's won an amazing victory. After this, and this happens in the movie, he becomes the Knight Protector of Scotland. He's like the second most powerful person in Scotland.
He's a legend.
Yes. In reality, that knighthood doesn't happen until after he invades England.
Okay.
But in the movie, they have him. He wins the
It
battle.
makes more sense in the
Battle.
movie.
Let's talk about the battle for a second. It's fucking awesome.
Well, let's talk about the
Scenes are
speech.
So good.
yeah. Talk about the speech.
So, the Brits outnumber. Well, sorry, I wrote Brits. The English outnumber the Scots, and a bunch of the Scots are going to leave.
Yep.
And out of nowhere rides in Mel and his crew
In their blue
in their
paint.
blue face paint, and he rides up and gives one of the best speeches in cinema history.
It's so legendary.
Sure.
And it's so inspiring.
Run now, and you'll live.
You'll live.
For a
For a
little
little
while.
while at least. And die in your beds many years from now.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. And you get fired up immediately.
Yes.
Do you think that we get fired up more for that because we are American?
Yes.
It's made for me and you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not made for
making sure.
Scotsmen of the 1200s.
No.
Right. Like somebody from Scotland. If
They don't know
watch
what
that
freedom
movie-
is. They have no concept of like every man should be left to his own devices. They're like, we should have our own king. You
Right.
know?
Like, these are, essentially. I heard someone screaming freedom back there.
Yeah.
I had to take my headphone off. Like, is that freedom? Yeah, that
They
is
have an
legendary.
idea of their own personal freedoms and liberties. You know, they know that they're being
Get 'em
oppressed
as
by this
yelling
English king.
freedom.
They're being. You have to understand, these people are being forced to pay taxes they don't want to a foreign government.
Yes.
Their nobility is in bed with them, and they're being drafted to fight in a war they have no part in. So they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
But this speech is about personal American liberty.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Which is obviously why we love it.
Right.
And then, the noblemen are going to negotiate terms with
Right.
the English.
And they're expecting to be bribed.
Yes.
And go home.
And go home. And Mel Gibson goes, I'm going to pick a fight.
And it's just the best.
And he talks trash, and it's really funny.
Right.
They go back, and he starts flashing his dicks with everyone.
Yep.
And then they start mooning them.
And now the archers come
And now
out.
the archers. Well, they moon them after the archers. So let's talk about the archers.
So they go back and they're just like, yep, launch some arrows at these guys because you're going to kill a few. You might scare them. That's usually the first thing that they're going to do. And archers are terrifying. They're brutal.
I would hate to be shot with an arrow, especially an English
think-
longbow.
What about one in the knee?
I used to be an adventurer until I took an arrow in the knee. Like you.
Yeah.
The only issue I would say that I had with this battle scene is the arrows. When they're being launched, they obviously used real arrows and launched them in the air and filmed it, but they only did 50. I would rather see 1,000
You want to
arrows.
see them blot out the sun?
Yeah, I want to see a lot, like Gladiator, you see oh, that's so cool. But they rain down these arrows and they put their shields up and they all have tiny shields. So you're just seeing guys getting hit and there's just gore coming out. And this is the first time, you saw some death before, but you didn't see an extensive amount of gore. This is the first time you kind of get that in the movie.
Yeah.
You get a lot of blood coming
No,
out.
you had a lot of gore in that first battle.
Yeah, but
Not
you
as
get
much.
people's heads coming off. And
Oh, it's insane.
You
Yeah.
get brutality
Limbs
here,
being hacked off.
Right.
which is I like
the
to
one guy
see.
gets shot in the ass with an arrow.
Yeah,
With a close-up of that.
yeah. I like to see that in medieval war movies because that's what it was.
that's what it was,
Yeah, that's
you
what
know?
it was. And it's actually underplayed in this because you gotta release the theaters.
You know what's crazy? It's nobody has been alive for the last, 700 years or so that has experienced that type of fighting. and we have no
Yeah.
depiction of it. We don't know what that was like. We can only read about it. You know, we can only see it in a painting.
You know what movie did a great job of that? Or that
Black Knight.
That
We
we're going to get
believe
into
is
one
it?
Black
day.
Knight with Martin
Knight.
Lawrence.
Lawrence, yeah, that
Yeah,
was a-
goes into
That's,
When they
that
said-
might as well be a documentary.
Yeah,
That
there's-
goes
into the past.
Like we all know they were singing "Dance to the Music" in the medieval
Yes,
courts.
also another
Luke Skywalker.
another one worth mentioning: A Kid in King Arthur's Court,
Yes, yes, very accurate.
So accurate.
starring James Bond.
King.
What's his name? Daniel Craig is. It's like his first movie.
Wait, what?
Kid in King Arthur's Court.
No.
Yeah.
Is he the kid?
No, he is the
Is he
knight.
the bad guy?
He's the knight. No, he's like his friend.
Really?
He teaches him. Yeah, he teaches him like how to fight.
In 1995? Holy shit! It is Daniel Craig. Well, I know what I'm watching tonight, guys.
Dude, if you're watching, I'm watching with you. I love that movie.
I was going to say the movie about King Henry that came out not
King.
too long ago. King.
I haven't seen it. I heard it's great.
I looked at some of the battle sequences. I didn't watch the whole movie because I actually want to do it on this show. But the battle sequences.
Yeah, I
seem
haven't watched it
legit.
because I figured we'd do it.
They seem very legit.
What movie?
Yeah,
King.
It's about King Henry.
It's on Netflix.
Okay, yeah, I want to watch that.
But yeah, then you get the great line by Stephen where they're getting shot by arrows, and he looks and he's like, he's pretty sure you're fucked.
The Lord says he can get me out of this one, but he's pretty sure you're fucked.
Great line. Great
Amazing.
line. And he wasn't wrong.
Well, no, they made it.
They made it. They win the battle.
Wallace didn't
Well, they win the battle,
in the long run.
and it's amazing. It's great.
And,
Oh,
then,
it's
and
so
then he gets
good.
his knighthood.
So
He gets knighted, yes.
we're Scottish knighting people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's an English thing.
No,
I
it's
feel
not.
right.
It's an all of Europe thing.
It's all of Europe.
Oh yeah.
Are there French knights?
Yes. Oh hell yes.
Okay. Oh, you know what there are? Yeah, I saw The Last Duel. I'm stupid.
No, I just wasn't sure if the Scots were doing it. You know, like I feel like they'd be counter to that if they're going to be like against the English so much. Why
So-
would you do an English?
So
tradition?
immediately they're talking, and the Scottish nobility are being assholes.
Yeah. Well,
And-
they immediately start squabbling with each other.
Yes, and Gibson is like, I want to grant freedom to the commoners.
Yeah. It's like no.
He's being American.
He's being American. This is stupid.
And we get a scene with Bruce and Wallace together. They have
Yeah,
a talk, and like
right.
there's a relationship,
Right.
and he's like, they follow me, but they should be following you. You
Yeah.
need to be the leader.
Right. Which, in the context of the movie, we can't understand why.
Yeah.
You know,
He's done nothing.
Right. In the real world, it's like he is the noble. He is the beacon that which the common man will follow. You know, it's monarchy. It's feudalism.
So the Scots are going on the offense now.
Yep.
Yes.
And
they
they're going-
They invade England.
They sack York.
So stupid.
In the movie or in reality?
No, in the movie, it's amazing.
Okay.
Movie, it's like fuck. This is great.
Yeah.
Oil.
In reality, it's like this is impossible. Why would anyone try and go to York? What happens in real life is William Wallace invades England and does like raids along the borderlands. He has
Okay.
a giant. He would need a gigantic supply line supported by the rich people. In reality, he's come down here on his own with his army, and is just like living off the land and killing.
He's like a marauder.
He's raiding towns in
Okay.
northern England.
He doesn't sack York.
York is like 150, maybe more miles away from the Scottish border. He's getting nowhere near it. Right? In the movie, it's like, we're fucking burning York down. York, this giant fortress city. You know? It's the greatest city in northern England.
He's taking it with like 50 guys,
Yeah.
and they don't have armor,
Right.
And they're just getting shot with arrows. They can barely open the door.
They got a battering ram. There's hot oil.
the battering iron doesn't even work. It barely opens the door. They sacked it. Come on.
Last time York
They
got...
don't have horses.
And you know what? They didn't even sack it. Because what is a sack? A sack is you break down the gates, you go in the city, you loot, you kill, you pillage, and you leave. They sit there.
They chill.
They take over the
They
city.
occupy
and they
it.
occupy it. How did they do this?
You know, New York got occupied once. They were in Zuccotti Park. They were there for like 10 years.
It's not a sacking. It's just a straight up lie from the movie. But it is cool as shit.
Yeah.
and they send the cousin's head down to London.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And this is when we get another amazing scene.
This
Yep.
is the second best scene in the movie. This may be the best scene in the movie.
All right, so it's Longshanks.
Not the best scene in the
It's
movie.
Longshanks, his son, and Philip.
Philip.
His military advisor. His
And,
dick.
and they're talking together about the situation. And Philip decides to chime in and try to give Longshanks advice.
Who is it that speaks to me as if I asked for his something?
This is Philip. He's my Secretary of War.
I've made him my military counselor.
What are your qualifications?
I am skilled in the arts of war and tactics. Oh, really?
Really? Can you tell me?
Well,
though-
how would you advise me upon the current situation?
And throws him out the window.
He screams.
It
He
is
laughs.
so funny.
It's fucking hysterical.
He throws this man out the window.
3 soldiers run up
he
to the body.
he flies down to the pavement. Is just dead. There's 3 guys.
Street pizza.
They look up.
3 guys, guards, and
They look up.
They look up. They see what happened and run away.
It's so good. Oh, we
It
didn't see
is-
shit.
Pure comedy.
Yes. So much of the King's scenes
Doesn't it
have
remind-
things like this.
Doesn't that whole part remind you of the scene in Holy Grail?
It's Monty Python. Yeah.
Where Lancelot is running and he's further back every time they show him.
Yes.
He never gets closer, he's always further back. And then he goes into that castle and kills everyone.
But now there's a.
And then they deliver the head.
They deliver the head. Well, they deliver the head, then he kills the guy. And now he's like, I need a new plan.
And they
We got to send the girl,
You gotta send the princess to deal with Mel Gibson.
which
Yes.
is
That's a mistake in the movie
Yeah, very big mistake, yeah.
because she's got the hots for him.
Right.
no, but they knew what they were doing.
That's my gentle son.
Well, we don't know
the very
that yet.
sight of him would encourage further.
Yes. But they have this meeting and has a few great lines here.
I
Right.
never lie.
I never lie, but I am a savage.
I'm an asshole, but I'm not a liar.
Yep.
Yes, right.
Same style,
concept,
same
yeah.
Yes.
concept. But they send him into the tent with no guards, which was bothersome to me.
I mean, it's a parlay. There's certain understandings people have.
Clearly, though, in this
Parlay.
movie, though, they set up those don't matter at all.
Yeah.
Because at the
Because you
beginning,
can hang people.
Right.
that literally happened at
Right.
the beginning of the movie.
And Wallace just walks in like, yeah, this is good. Like, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? At least get one guy.
He has this meeting with the princess, and they're supposed to broker a truce, and she's supposed to pay him off.
Yes.
But she just wants that dick.
And yes, but he doesn't want to be a Judas,
Yes.
so he
see
tells
his
her
strength in
that
you.
she can take that money home with her.
Yeah. And she says she gives it to the poor children
Yes, who are suffering
who
from
are
this war.
suffering. And then Longshanks is like, it's okay. The truce was going to be bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to get Bruce to betray him.
We already sent
Well, he
guys.
already sent an
He already
army.
sent army.
He's already
Yes,
gathering
that's what it is.
forces, yeah, from all over the place to fight that Falkirk. Wallace is in the movie. The army has appeared behind him in Scotland.
Yes.
Which is,
And there's an army.
I mean,
of
it works
3
for the movie,
groups.
but it's not what happened in real life.
Well, it's because he's in York. They need to get him out of
They need to
York.
get you right. They need to send him back home. In reality, he's already gone home. Like he's raided the southern lands and
Yeah.
he's gone back now. He's been made a knight and protector of Scotland. Edward has now decided to invade Scotland in force. So
There's the Battle of Falkirk,
Falkirk.
that's how William Shatner died in Generations.
Kirk fell.
It was a Falkirk.
Yeah.
That's what they wrote in the script. Falkirk.
It was fun. Oh my.
Oh my!
So in the movie,
What a beautiful day.
there's a split between this army. So it's Frenchmen, it's Ireland, and
Yeah,
there's another group.
he's got some Irish. He's got some Welsh
It's
bowmen.
Welshmen.
Yeah.
I would assume that in the real world, I don't know what the situation of the armies were.
definitely,
That would happen.
Conscriptions happen.
yeah. It
But that diverse.
totally. I mean, this
yeah?
is his realm. He's drawing
Yeah.
places for soldiers from all over the place. there was no Irish meetup.
Right.
You know?
Well, that scene is one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
best.
It's literally just to give the finger to like English people.
Yes.
You know, like that's it. It's like the team up of Ireland and Scotland to fuck England.
Yeah.
They'll do it every
great.
time.
It's so glorious though, because you're watching it as a viewer, and especially if you haven't seen it before,
Right.
and like the Irish guy the whole time he's like, "It's my
island.
Yeah. And
They shake. Oh, it's so funny every time.
it's great.
So the Scots and the Irishmen, they have some
They team up. They're like, we both hate
Lovely.
the English.
Right.
there's some kilts. On Staten Island, my island that I'm from, we have North Faces and Yankee hats. That's our uniforms. That's my island.
Timberlands.
Yeah, they have this big battle, but
Wallace underestimates it.
well, he's gonna win. He's like winning. They do the fire arrows.
They do one of my favorite things, which you know I love.
I know
They
you love a pre-planned trap.
Yes, they have soaked the field in oil, and they hit it with a flaming arrow,
Right.
and they set the English on fire.
Yes.
And anytime this happens in any movie, you know I'm excited.
Last
and I love
Samurai.
it.
Last Samurai.
Last Samurai. It is my favorite battle
Cartoon
tactic.
did it too.
It's great.
Yeah, it works every time. It's great.
There's also like a comedic scene in this too with the king again. They're about to go to like do the battle.
Well, he's a comic genius. We've already figured
It's insane. It's insane how good he is at comedy. He turns to the knight and he says something like, "Oh, it's a good day for a battle, right?" And the knight just nods. And the king opens his eyes wide, looks at him like, "What? I don't get a laugh?" And he looks back at the battle like, "This guy ain't giving me anything." I'm like, "This guy's a fucking genius."
He's great. He's just so funny.
He actually, when he was in France, it wasn't his
theirs,
lands.
too.
He was doing
stand-up
He was
tours.
doing stand up in France. Yeah, exactly.
But it's like malicious, evil stand-up. I'm going to decapitate this midget for laughs.
Isn't this funny?
I'm going to
do it in short order. Look, I threw a homosexual out a window. It's flying fruit.
Takes an Irish baby, throws it in a tub of water.
I heard
And he
they
doesn't know why
like
nobody's
drinking. Let's see him drink his way out of this.
And nobody's laughing. He doesn't know why.
My lord.
Is this thing on?
Squire, how did I do? My lord, you killed it.
Ye old chuckle hut.
The nobles ride away.
Oh,
They've
bastards.
been paid off.
Scumbags.
They're so fucking hateable.
Yes.
They needed those horses. They're the only ones with horses. But the thing is, the nobles ride away. Why did the other guys ride away? Like they're just following
They're
the nobles?
their household.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the clan.
Knights. Like they own them. You know?
Were the clans like just gangs?
No.
Were they a little more advanced than gangs?
It's almost like a city, right?
like youth crews.
I mean, you have these lords, these nobles. They own lands. People live on their lands. They pay taxes to
towns.
to the nobles, right? Within that, these people have personal house guards that are loyal to them. They're usually like veteran soldiers that have sworn their allegiance to these individual men that they keep around and are professional fighters, you know? So like when these nobles show up to a battlefield, they have like 100 dudes with them that are all loyal to them above anything else.
I
you
see.
know?
Okay.
What the fuck are you doing with your arms? I've been watching you sit like this for like 5 minutes.
being a gorilla.
And this is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen anyone do.
You want to describe it?
And the way you're sitting, you have your arms out in front of you, upside down, with your thumbs on the table, and you've just been
Pinkies in the air.
Pinkies in the air, and you've been sitting here like this
talking.
for at least 10 minutes.
Why?
Yeah, but
That's not
it's so
comfortable.
weird.
It's not comfortable. This is actually a very uncomfortable
Like,
position.
yeah.
I don't know.
What is the reason for this?
I was in deep thought.
You stretching? Does your arms hurt? Yeah.
We've been here a long time.
It was just
We
a
have,
very
yeah.
bizarre sight.
So there's an evil scene now where he gives the order for archers to draw and launch their arrows.
But sir, our men are down there.
Kill theirs too.
Kill theirs too. He cares nothing for anyone.
We have reserves.
And you'd think that the general, who probably has some friends in there, would just be like, "Yeah, I'm not going to give that order. Fuck this guy." But no, they do it and they kill everyone.
Yeah.
Just everyone starts dying.
But Wallace in the melee sees an opportunity to chase down Edward.
Yep.
So he makes a go for it. But he is stopped by his standby knight, a man in full armor and helmet.
Yes.
Jousting equipment.
And puts down Wallace. And who is it?
Robert the Bruce.
Yes, the traitor.
And Gibson dies at that moment.
He's black-pilled.
Yeah.
Well, he knew that there was. I think, at least from what I saw, he realized that the Scottish people just did it to themselves.
Right. He's like, I can't trust anyone. Like, literally, all of our aristocracy is bought and paid for by a foreign power.
Now, if you're Wallace at that point, why didn't he cut his throat? Why didn't he just cut his throat and say,
I've
"I'm king now"?
been asking myself that for 2
I'm
days.
king now. Fuck this guy.
Well, not even that. Like, just, this is a traitor.
Yeah.
He's betrayed his people.
People are dead because of him.
Yes. Why let him live? All I come up with is just the shock and the realization.
It's the shock and the heartbreak.
Right.
Because he fought in the hopes that this man would step up and do the
become
right thing.
Right. And unite the clans.
And at that moment, Mel could kill him. But it's, again, that thing. It's like, Robert the Bruiser knows what he did.
Yeah. Oh, immediately he's like, oh, my God.
And Mel Gibson is like, you know what you did. You have to live with this, you scumbag. You fucking shitlord.
But then he goes on the next few scenes are him hunting down the other guys.
Yeah.
Well,
Why not hunt down him?
Because you feel like he can be redeemed.
Why?
'Cause
What
he
is
let him
redeemable
live,
about
'cause he
it?
let him live.
Not only did he not, like the other guys abandoned the fight and left, this guy actively fought on the other side. Right?
Yeah.
He's so much worse than the rest of them. The movie makes no sense.
No.
But
The
for
only
whatever
thing-
reason,
He let him live.
it just,
He put
I
him on
don't
the
know,
horse.
it's still great. And I cannot tell you why.
I think it's the emotions of it. It's Mel could kill him now, but it doesn't matter. Mel's beaten
He's
at that
broken,
moment.
yes.
Why am I going to kill this guy at this point?
But that's why the finale, I'm going to say it, is not good. It doesn't work. Because there's no reason that a man who has been through all of this, I can't believe what he does. When they ask him to come meet up with Robert the Bruce again to try
goes to it.
he goes.
It makes even his partner, his best friend for his whole life, basically is like, you know, it's a trap, right? And you as
And
an
he's
audience
like,
member,
I
you're
have
like,
to
it's a
believe.
trap.
And it's like, why would you believe?
There's no reason to.
I don't believe that you believe.
But now this is something that I remember.
Well,
I didn't see this movie for quite some time before rewatching it with you guys. I think.
Well, before we, because I know what you want to talk about, before we
Yes.
get there,
Yes.
can we talk about the real Battle of Falkirk?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean it. Like in the movie, they come from all over the place. That's not what happens. Like Wallace is there already.
Robert the Bruce is not there.
He's not at the battle. The nobles don't betray him. They just lose the battle. You know, it's a fight. They're outnumbered. The English win. Wallace is defeated.
And his best friend dies, not Hamish. He had a real best friend, Sir John de Graham, who fought with him throughout this whole time.
Little John.
I don't know about
Seeing
Little
some
John.
common themes here.
But he died there, and like supposedly his death is why Wallace went into hiding for a little bit to mourn.
Yes, he flees. He's not captured, but he's kind of out of it for a while. And the English essentially won the war until Robert the Bruce starts fighting back and becomes the new kind of head of this rebellion.
Okay.
And it will be him eventually that will lead the Scots to Bannockburn and the liberation of their country. He becomes the king of Scotland. Now, as we all know, going way into the future, England and Scotland will eventually be united. And it is, ironically, a Scottish king who will become the king of England, James I.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So the Scots end up going that way. They go south.
Elizabeth I dies without an heir. Next in line is James.
Okay.
So he just inherits England.
And that's how it happens.
And that is how the UK was born.
Okay.
Great Britain.
Wow. Yeah.
The Irish are like fucking lucky Scots.
It's funny. Speaking of Ireland, when Robert the Bruce does become king, one of the first things he does is invade Ireland.
Really?
Yes. Scotland invaded Ireland.
Does he succeed?
No. He's
Yeah?
actually hunting down other claimants to the Scottish throne and killing them.
Oh, okay. So he's specifically targeting like
Like guys that are hiding out there.
okay.
But like his brother, they had an eye to conquer Ireland and take it away from the English, but it doesn't work. Yeah. Back to Wallace. Let's talk about the movie.
Well, it's time for the Mel Gibson revenge tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Whole shit is Beaver's favorite shit in the world. He opened my eyes to how ridiculous this is years ago when we were talking about this movie.
Yes.
And it makes no fucking sense.
It's so dumb.
It's like, why
So
would you do this?
unnecessary.
Yeah.
All right, take it away, Steve.
So, like I said, I didn't watch it for a few years. We watched it together. And I turned to Anthony and I'm like,
This is years ago.
years ago, I'm like, hey, this movie's really long and there's like 20 minutes that you don't need.
It's not 20 minutes. That's an exaggeration.
It's an exaggeration. It's about 13 to 15 minutes. I'm not even joking.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Honestly, though, the whole movie is long in general, so I feel like it doesn't feel out of place.
No,
Right.
it doesn't.
But it is.
Because you want those guys to be punished.
Yes.
You hate them.
Yeah. But there's a lot of
the fact
silliness.
that he would take time out to sneak around, like he literally drops a man out of a ceiling.
Yes.
He rides into a guy's bedroom. How did he get in there? Why does the guy's bedroom have an open barn door onto a window that he can jump out of with a horse?
Down to a river.
It's bad design.
So
He wanted an ocean view.
the scene that really takes you away from the movie is right before that. The guy's having a nightmare of William Wallace.
Coming in his house.
Face paint, no. Yes.
He makes that sound.
Yes.
Throughout the entire
That is the
thing, he's going blah, 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 for like 15
Fire
minutes.
behind him, yeah.
Fire behind him
Covered
going,
in blood. And he just
it's like a demon growl. And the guy wakes up from the nightmare like,
And
oh
there
my
he is.
God, that was terrifying. And he pops through the door
On a horse.
the horse and
With a mace.
tramples him.
a ball
Mind you, he came
No, he
through.
doesn't trample him. He smashes his
He
face
smashes
open with a
it, yes,
fucking
with a
mace.
He does.
mallet.
No, Steve's right. He does trample him.
tramples him.
He lifts him up the horse. The horse stomps his
Yeah, he goes,
stomach in.
Yes. And then there's like people hear it, they rush into the room, and he launches the horse out of a window into the river going, the horse probably died.
Oh, definitely.
Don't know why. Don't know why. And he goes on a murder tour.
Yeah.
He goes to the Scottish Highlands with these like bagpipes playing. And it's like, wow, that's cool. Why are you in the hills? That makes no sense to me.
He's going from
Because
town
you're
to
not
town.
you're not the enemy of anyone. And as he's going through the hills, these
Well, he's
people are
wanted by
talking-
everybody, right?
No,
he
he's
wasn't-
wanted by the
He
English.
wasn't wanted by the Scots.
Yeah, the
You don't
Scots
thi-
love him.
I feel like the noblemen's like you can't trust them.
Well, they consider him to be a liability.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're not like the normal.
But he's
folk
going.
like him.
He's killing them.
Yeah, and
He's like assassinating.
Well, they need to die.
and as he's going through, like they show the townsfolk saying like, oh, he killed 50 men, he killed 100 men,
Yeah.
and the rumor and the story is growing and growing, and that's cool. But then it just keeps going to where he drops a body from rafters.
Yes, I don't know how he got up there.
Don't know how.
I don't know why the guy was up there that he killed him up there.
No idea why.
Or maybe he killed him in like his bedroom
I
and
assume
then brought him up there.
that's what I've always assumed.
how did
He
he
killed a
know?
man, carried him up there to the rafters, hid for the entire meeting, waited for the perfect comedic moment, and then threw him.
It's insane. And Mel Gibson doesn't speak for 15 minutes.
No. Yeah.
He just grunts. It's insane. It's utterly insane. It's so
It's
fucking
awesome,
funny.
I love every second
It's
of
so
it.
unnecessary. It's great, but you really didn't need it. Like
So Mel meets up with the princess. They have another parlay.
This time they fuck.
They fuck.
they fuck. Which is the quickest and strangest sex scene ever. It's like 2 seconds. It's like just instant. Like
she
sex gone,
contacted
done.
him, right?
No, she was sent there to like put him at ease again.
I thought she like contacted him secretly, and they had a secret meeting.
Well, they also have the burning of the garrison.
Well, that's next. That's
no,
after
that's
they meet.
before.
No,
They burn the guys in the garrison. Yes,
that's
It's
Mel.
his-
Mel
his
and
murder
Princess
tour.
meet. Mel and Princess meet. Oh no, you're right.
Bride
Mel
tour.
revenge tour, and then burns Brits alive. Yeah.
Yeah, he did same thing in the Patriot,
But the Brits burned the townsfolk.
and the Scots burned the soldiers.
Well,
in the-
this one
in the thing.
he's tipped off. He gets the note.
She sent him a note
Yes.
to warn him that they were going to trap him.
Yes.
Right, assassins were sent north, and he throws them in the building and burns them alive.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he pulls a Patriot,
Right.
or the
right,
Patriot
right.
pulled a.
And then
a
after
Wallace.
that, he meets up with her, and he's like, "Why are you being kind to me?" and stuff. And then they fuck.
Yes.
Then
He's contacted by Robert the Bruce.
yeah, and Robert the Bruce is like, "Let's do this. Let's
Like,
fucking.
we're going all out. We're going to win this war.
It's time."
And he shows up at the castle.
walking on
at
the
Edinburgh.
like Robert the Bruce is
Oh,
walking on his table.
real quick before this, we should say. After the last betrayal, Robert the Bruce.
Oh, yes,
oh no, this one's sorry. No, this.
No, it's after
It's
after
after this.
Falkirk.
Yes.
He goes up to his father and he has this scene where he's showing all his remorse and
Yes.
his hate. He's disgusted with himself.
Yes.
Right. And he has like this new rebirth.
Yeah, and he's
And we're supposed to forgive him, but no one's forgiving him.
he's like, I fucked up. I was wrong. I'm sorry I did that.
I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed that I did that.
So that
That's fucking
Don I
I miss. I'm sorry I did that. I'm
That's
embarrassed
so
that I did that.
obscure.
so then
Like, don't go. It's a trap. And he's like, yeah,
I know it's a
He's
trap,
like,
but I gotta go and I have to hope. I'm a believer. And he's betrayed again.
Yes. The nobles got him
Of
again.
course. Shocking.
And this time he gets handed over to the English and brought to London, where he will be brutally tortured to death.
And before that, he has one last scene with the princess
Great line.
where she comes in and she's like, they're going to torture you and kill you. You know, maybe you could live in the tower if you confess and all this. And this actually happened as far as the confession.
He would he didn't confess to anything.
No, because they were like, confess that you betrayed the
And we'll
king of
kill you
England.
quickly.
And he's like, I've never sworn allegiance to the king of England.
Yes.
I did not betray anything.
Right.
He says that in the movie, too.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's real. That happened.
And they in the movie it's like he's in front of this big crowd and they disembowel him and shit, but they don't show it. And they give him that all happened, but it also they dragged him around the town.
They also cut his dick off in real
Cut
life.
his dick off in real life. They dragged him around the town on the like he was tied to the back of a horse, and they just like fucking brought him around through the mud and muck and shit. And yeah, it was bad. They hung him and stretched him, and
Yeah, they show that in this one a little bit, but
then finally when he expired, they chopped his head off, put it on London Bridge, sent his limbs to the four corners of Britain all over the place.
they
as
say
a
that in
warning,
the movie.
but it had the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Mel and the princess, they have a meeting, and he says, every man dies.
Not every man.
Not
lives.
every man lives.
I say that as I'm eating my 7th taco. So goes
She
a
tries
long
to
way.
give him like a pain
Yeah.
dull or some kind of drug.
I never noticed him spit it out before.
Yeah, he spits it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I like that.
Wouldn't she also get slightly numb from the kiss? Because like she kissed with poison in his mouth, and
I don't
wouldn't
know,
she
maybe.
get not
It's
poison,
not
the
poison.
tonic? The tonic.
I don't know. Maybe she gets a little numb.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
So then we get a great scene where Longshanks is on his like deathbed, like he's sick, he can't speak. And she comes over and she's begging for mercy for Wallace, and he's not going to get it. And she goes, just know a child grows in my belly, not of your blood.
Yes, yeah.
It's a Wallace.
Yep.
And Longshanks, you hear him make horrible
Horrified.
gurgling sounds, and it's hysterical.
Your
Yeah,
son won't live long
He's
either.
been sick for a while now.
Thank God there's no pens. Now, obviously, Isabella, we said, was 9,
9.
and she never met Wallace.
Yeah, she's been in France this whole time.
She's a
She's
child.
a child.
So we get the Gibson torture scene.
There's a midget wrestling scene. Before
There
that.
is, yes.
Oh yeah.
They're doing
doing a
silly
play.
antics.
Yeah. And the crowd is booing Mel Gibson at first. And then eventually, they come to respect him and they want mercy.
Do they?
Yeah, they ask
all
for
call
mercy for him.
yeah.
Oh well, they're
Because-
they're just horrified. It's not
because-
that they've come to respect.
Well, they say if
They're
you
cutting
could
his dick
change
off.
and I could change,
Everyone could change.
everybody could change. And that's what that scene is.
So they do a really good bit here. Yeah. They do a good scene here where they take like a knife and they cut his shirt open.
Yes.
To expose his chest because he's about to get serious torture now. Like
Right.
the hanging in the rack is painful, but you're not getting pierced. This, they don't show anything.
He gets disemboweled in real life.
He does, but they don't show anything here.
No.
So it's up
Yeah, you
to
don't know exactly what they're doing, but you can
If
imagine.
you know it's horrific
Yes.
because you just see this long
Right.
curved blade and you're like, oh, that's going to cut some things off.
And they're like, just cry out for mercy and it will end.
Yeah.
And he says the best line. Right?
Freedom!
That's his last words. That's his last words. Freedom.
Get him.
And the whole crowd is like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Like, we messed up.
And he sees his wife in the crowd.
Yeah.
With his two buddies.
Yep. And do you think in the afterlife, like, he sees her and he's like, oh, my God, I missed you. And she's just like, princess, huh?
I mean, you think she's annoyed?
She's dead, and she has to respect the fact that he ruined the bloodline of evil.
Right. Yeah. True.
Still.
There has to be
He
some
wasn't married. He
satisfaction.
wasn't married.
Right.
I'm sure there was, but I in my head, I was, yeah, so a princess, huh? You piece of shit.
So now we get Robert the Bruce gives a speech, and they charge, and Hamish throws Mel's sword,
Yeah.
Yes.
and it sticks in the ground.
What happens if it didn't
fought
stick
like
and it just
warrior
kind of like
poets.
fell on
And in
its side?
1314, they won their freedom.
That
Oh, the sword didn't stick?
yeah. What if it just
yeah,
fell
just
on
like
its
kind
side?
of lazily fell on the ground. Just laid there.
Just dunk, like a couple of dings, like ding, ding, ding.
It's well made. It's a balancing issue.
right. Won their freedom. Wasn't that like 200 years after?
No.
Reality.
no.
No, it was Robert the Bruce, like you said, right?
Bannockburn.
It was that exact moment where they were
Yeah,
they were
they-
considered
Yeah, Scotland, and it was recognized by the Pope and everything.
Oh,
they
wow.
got their own country.
So the Scots are Catholic?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought they were Protestant.
Well, at this point, everyone's Catholic.
Well-
Protestant Reformation hasn't happened.
That's true.
I mean, in the movie, I'm surprised they're just not Neolithic pagans.
right.
It's like, that's what they paint them as.
So is there any other historical things we need to discuss with this that was missed or we got wrong?
I think we're good. I think we made it. I think we gave a good assessment. I'm sure there's things I missed, but whatever.
I think we nailed everything fake in the movie, right?
I hope so. I hope we got as much as humanly possible. Brian has given me his doodle for
Yes.
today.
Brutal, yeah.
I don't know what I'm looking at. It looks. I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like Golgotha Hill, where Christ was crucified, because it's a hill with a cross on top of it. I don't know what that has to do with this movie. It's
They're
weird.
Catholic.
Is that what you're going for?
It's the sword sticking out of the hill at the end of the movie.
But it's not on a hill at the movie. It's like an
on the
open
ground.
field.
Well, it's the hills of Scotland, so that's why I
Symbolically.
yes. That was a
The
little
Highlands.
Yes, that's exactly what that is. But do you see the broadsword now, kind of?
Okay. Look at the
That
how
okay. All right.
He made the hilt of a sword. One like you got the cross.
It
right?
looks like a
one
wooden
one
sign.
side looks normal. The other one looks
tiny.
is big and fat
It looks like a wooden sign.
and square.
It looks like if I'm walking down the block, there's like a big stone boulder and a wooden sign telling me like the street name. That's what it looks like. I see what you were going for now, though. Yeah,
I don't have the ability, you know.
you're getting there. You're getting there. You're getting better, like we said.
Oh yeah, I'm on my way.
I have to admit, he's getting better. He's getting better all the time.
It would be amazing if one time, like, I did like one and it was like an incredible like masterpiece. Like straight like friggin' Renaissance realism shit.
So, what do you guys rate this? Because I feel like it's very easy to rate.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It's utterly perfect. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's one of the best movies ever made. I know I fairly recently gave another movie a 10 out of 10, but I don't give a shit. This movie is fucking
Gave the
incredible.
Untouchables a 10 out of 10.
I did.
My gut instinct is to agree with you because it is a perfect movie. But I have detracted a lot of points in the past for being inaccurate.
But dude, it's Braveheart.
I know.
It's Braveheart, yeah.
And if I were to detract points for being inaccurate, it's like a 0. Because it's just lies at some point.
Yeah.
That's why you
But
can't.
it's a 10. This is a perfect
Yeah.
movie. This is a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10!
I got a little 10 out of 10.
Agreed. 10 out of 10.
All right.
All right.
Braveheart. Killer.
Did you rate it, Steve?
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Oh, wow. So this is the highest rated.
I can't see anything else making it this high.
It's
Ryan?
up there, man.
Yeah, that might make it.
That movie is bullshit, though. That's the thing. That movie's has no historical basis other than the opening.
It's like Gladiator,
Yeah.
you know?
It's a timepiece. It's not really necessarily the true story
It's
piece.
a picture of a moment, not necessarily a real story.
You could even say that about this, though. No? Because there's so much.
No,
faulty
this
things.
is real people real events that happened that we're portraying completely wrong.
All right, well.
Thank you for listening,
Yeah,
folks.
that'll do it. Thank you again.
Want to give a thank you to Tell 'em Steve Dave, letting us record in the studio. Thank you all for listening. Give us a follow everywhere on social media, Reviewing History Everywhere, RView History Pod on Twitter. I'm Brian Rupert with 2 P's everywhere on all social media. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, including the ones for this show. Thank you all for joining us. If you like the show, please rate and review us on iTunes. It helps potential sponsors find the show, helps us grow. If you like us, please tell a friend, get more people to listen. Thank you all for listening. We will see you next week with JFK.